Operators, welcome to today's live stream. As always, Thursday is going to be a deep dive session. We're going to be focused on a primary topic, understanding the laws that our brand will live or die by. I understand some of you have been posting content for a while. Others of you are new to the space. Although we focus on automated tools and systems, it doesn't mean anything unless the brand that you're trying to sell and to pitch to other people to live a standard for is actually worth something to them. That comes by setting a vision, setting a list of standards of who you want to be, and more importantly, what example you set for the people following your brand. Today's lesson is going to be a deep dive on how do we execute in a speed run session within 30 to 40 minutes, a brand identity that will be stone cold, that will dictate our content, the actions we take, when we do and don't present ourselves to the public, how we execute the day-to-day, and more importantly, what we live our personal lives by. If you have never attended a live stream before, this is the one you need to pay attention to. Let's get into it. To start this live stream, I want to define the purpose and the objective of this session. We want to build a lethal brand code and install a system that governs your scaling, content, and decisions with elite level discipline. The mission briefing is simple. You will leave with a customized brand code, a set of unbreakable operator laws, and the systems to enforce them. Now, there's a difference between having discipline and having laws. Discipline is great, but however, depending on the day and depending on the tolerance you have, it will change over time because you simply have to build it up. And just like any other skill, you could say your discipline is stone cold, but it may falter. When you have a law you live by, there is no choice. There is no possibility of not completing it. You either do or you will not exist anymore because you will not be in compliance. And therefore, the likelihood of your success and the patterns that you've made will be broken. Think of the laws of physics, the laws of nature. It's simply incomprehensible to not fit in tune with the laws that you've created for yourself. So phase one of this exercise is going to be in the first 3 to 10 minutes. I want you to lock in the core traits of your brand that should never be compromised. The prompt for this is simple. What are the 3 principles your brand must live by under pressure? We don't chase trends. We say less but mean more. We prioritize proof over promises. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to be simple. You're going to have a lot of different visionary statements. There's a lot of ways to define discipline. There's a lot of ways to define a performance-based mindset, whatever your core focus is. But unless you pick a few simple statements, holding yourself accountable to a massive frame of mind is going to be near impossible. We have to limit it to a few things that we can either, at the end of the day, getting started, say we accomplished or we didn't. In order to do this, and obviously with our focus in the space being the premier spot, we have a ChatGPT AI prompt for you to use. By the way, these are all things that are core principles inside of the digital syndicate, and we'll walk you through in a more in-depth exercise if you want to fully develop an elite operator status brand. But for the sake of this live stream, we'll be cut down to only 30 to 40 minutes. So the prompt is simple. You are an elite brand strategist. The brand is for insert audience. Here are 3 things I stand for. Insert principles. Based on this, write 3 clear high status brand commandments I could use and run my content and offers through. Now, of course, you need to define the audience and the things you stand for, which we're kind of doing here. However, we can give it ideas. And if you're in the digital syndicate, you're obviously going to have the full walkthrough of how to develop those things as well, leading up to prompts like this. For the sake of this exercise, we're going to have to fill it in on our own. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. We're going to put it into ChatGPT and custom tailor it. So we're going to make up an audience for our brand of Ascend. Let's say 18 to 26-year-old men, passion for entrepreneurship, AI and automation, content creation, personal branding, online coaching, and influence. Here are 3 things I stand for. Flawless and streamlined execution of goals. Software and advanced technological concepts. And finally, I think the last thing we'll pick for this exercise will be unwavering focus and determination to be excellent and elite in performance. Now, these are vague, but obviously that's the point of this. Based on this, write 3 high status brand commandments I could run my content and offers through. Let's submit and see what it gives us. Now, it should be relatively the same for each one of you that commits this prompt. Don't try to be perfect to start. Pick 3 things that you know have always been goals of your life, and ideally make this something that relates to you. Because at the end of the day, you are selling yourself with the brand. It doesn't matter if you have a ulterior motive or alter ego you like to present. These should be goals that you can hold yourself to, or you're not going to find the passion to run your brand and business. So the brand commandments it's generated for us are these. First, execute without exception. Precision is power. Every action, every strategy, every system flawlessly streamlined for maximal impact. No hesitation, no compromise. Second, leverage elite technology. We weaponize AI, automation, and software as our competitive advantage. Master technology, command the future. That's ascend. And third, demand excellence, reject mediocrity. Unwavering focus, elite standards, perform at your peak, always and only. We're going to go ahead and copy these, put them back into either the page itself, or in this case, we're going to start a new page. We call it Ascend Brand Laws. The next part of this prompt sequence is the code construction. So now we're going to write what's called the operator laws. These are short, clear, repeatable rules that govern our execution. So 3 to 5 laws that back the core principles that we stand for. We can't just say we stand for excellence. We can't just say we stand for discipline or unwavering focus. We need to define it in a way that is specific, and we can say we either met the law or we did it. What are those principles that you live by, that you would define as your core identities? Laws are going to be there to enforce it, so you can say whether or not you met those broader vision statements for yourself. As it says, be decisive and be specific. Think like a military doctrine, because that's my background, and I found that to work the best. So in this case, we have clarity over cleverness, never sell without proof, and silence builds strength. Turn these traits into clear operator style brand laws. So all you have to do for this one is just copy the prompt, and we can just put it in, and we can just take the 3 brand commandments and replace the 3 numbers and hit enter. So now we have our laws. Precision over everything. Weaponize elite technology and excellence only always. We're going to go ahead and copy these laws, and we're going to put them into underneath our commandments. You may be wondering, how do we in the day-to-day do precision over everything? Well, in reality, even though it seems vague, it's very simple. If something is more precise than the alternative, right, just as in a scientific experiment, if the null hypothesis versus the thing you want to try is more precise versus not as precise, you want to pick the more precise thing. Let's say we can post 7 posts a week, but they're not going to be as targeted. They're going to be more vague. Well, then we know that our brand laws favor precision, so we're probably not going to do that. We're going to stick to 4 or 5 posts that are targeted and precise. You've now determined a vision that others can see and live up to, and you're very clear about how you approach it. These aren't necessarily telling you specifically what to do because we want them to apply to everything. They give us guidelines to make decisions. In this case, the second one is weaponize elite technology. So if you're deciding between 2 softwares, ask yourself, which one has a higher output, a better performance, and always try to use that one because we stand for only using the most elite of technology out there and giving that as well to you guys. We're not going to use some basic DM tool. We're going to use the full service tool that's going to get the job done the right way. Next, we're going to go back to our execution lab template. Phase 3 is the brand audit. So the objective of this is to pressure test your laws against a real asset. If you just have basic visions and then laws that seem to be good, but don't actually know if they'll achieve results for you or just lead you on a bad course of action, we have to put it to the test first. So in this case, I want you to choose one brand asset. It can be an Instagram bio, a pin post, an offer, your funnel, etc. And then go ahead and ask the following. First, does this asset follow all of my laws? Second, would someone aligned with my brand recognize me instantly? So what I want you to do, once again, is copy this prompt, put it back into ChatGPT. You're going to go ahead and copy your 3 operator laws and input them where it says, and then we're going to ask it to analyze the offer. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and analyze my own Instagram bio. Now, I understand it's probably not going to be perfect because it likely is flawed in some way because it's not set up for this specific example. But it is, however, set up for the bio and the laws that we made for the Ascend brand. But for this purpose, we're going to go ahead and test it just to get feedback if it were your brand. Otherwise, unless we have something to test it against, we're not going to get valid feedback. And for the purpose of this exercise, we might as well critique ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and put Ascend's Instagram inside of our template. I'm going to show you guys what you get. I've pasted a screenshot of the Instagram bio of the Ascend agency in here. We're going to go ahead and see how it rates it compared to those laws. You can now read through the feedback and see if you're in compliance or not. Now, this is probably one of the most important parts of the exercise because too many times We have visions for ourselves, but we like to bend the rules when we critique ourselves. We can't be honest, right? That's why it's so important to get peer review, peer feedback, and why consulting as a whole exists and why we started in consulting. We use AI to be the hard enemy, giving you the hard, honest truth so it doesn't have to feel like somebody's attacking you. And in this case, we designed this prompt to specifically tell you what to do and why it's not working. So you can go critique it and instantly improve yourself anytime you want. So in this case, it says ascend agency, move with precision, scale with force, AI systems for creators and strategy for killers, begin deployment. That's our Instagram bio, as you can see here. It says the strengths are tactical language, move with precision, scale with force, which probably aligns with our precision over everything, that kind of tactical operator mindset. A direct call to action with begin deployment, and a high status framing with strategy for killers. The gaps, it says AI systems for creators feels slightly soft compared to your laws. It doesn't explicitly reinforce excellence only or the tech as a weapon concept. It can sound more like a command center, less like a service menu. So more importantly, what the prompt will do is rewrite your bio. It says precision first systems, elite only execution, AI infrastructure for digital dominance, deploy your edge. And it also gives me, in this case, alternate versions if I don't like the way that sounds. You would have to pay consultants hundreds of dollars to take hours of their time having social media experience go and optimize something like that for you. We don't believe in that at Ascend. If you have access to a $20 a month ChatGPT subscription or even just the free model with limited prompts, you can go ahead and fix this. We don't believe in charging you guys, which is why it's on YouTube. We only charge you guys for premium level services that we're giving you, like tools, automated services that do the work for you. Any of these training things that you can go ahead and optimize are yours. And there you go. Let's get back to the exercise. So we're going to go ahead and copy the refined bio. We're going to put it additionally in our new document. Now we have more feedback. We're going to go back to the execution and continue to phase 4. The objective is to hardwire your laws into your execution system. So I want you to choose one process now. Your content calendar, your client onboarding, your offer creation, your standard operating procedures, or your team training. Create an enforcement mechanism. So add a checklist to Notion, print and post your brand code, add a law compliance step to all deliverables. If you guys don't have full coaching services set up yet, then join the digital syndicate and it'll show you exactly how to automate it, where you can have hundreds of clients paying and being coached on repeat for you with the systems we teach. And secondly, we will teach you this in a second as we walk through an exercise so you can see what it looks like down the road. In this case, we're going to use the template that says, here are my brand laws. We're going to go paste it right underneath where we did before. We're going to go up and copy the brand laws that we defined for ourselves. These 3 right here. Put them into the prompt where it says in the section that we laid out for you. It says, I want to install them into my blank. And we left this as multiple options so you can go ahead and select what you want. In this case, I think I'll select my content process to get some content creation ideas. Build a checklist or a short standard operating procedure that enforces these laws. We're going to go ahead and hit enter and see what ChatGPT has to return for us. In a matter of seconds, it's now defined an objective list for us to validate our content against. Every post must execute with precision, showcase tech as leverage, and reflect elite level standards. It tells us exactly based on our laws of precision over everything, weaponize elite technology, and excellence always, how we can rate our content. Gone are the days of having a 45-year-old mentor with a notepad and a pen take 6 hours to review your content. I don't believe in that at Ascend, and that's why we're different from everyone else out there, as I have to keep saying. So now it says, is the hook surgical? 7 words or less, no filler. That's something that would relate to precision. Is every line essential? So you'll go through your script and cut all waste. If you're being redundant, using the same words, the same sentences, you'll go ahead and cut it out. In this video, when you watch it on YouTube or record it, I've likely gone through and done something similar because that relates to our brand laws. I'll look at every sentence I'm saying and cut out things that don't need to be in here. You can go through all of these and read to make sure it's in an essential checklist that does clarify your content. And we've just maximized that step. It would look slightly different if you used it for standard operating procedures or any other part of your business, but feel free to test different parts out. The final part in phase 5 is going to talk about scaling. How do we take our identity that is now defined in 3 simple phases of execution and standards that we can go apply to make this bigger, more performative, bring us more money? Take a system that we already have that's working in coaching or as a service-based agency or a personal brand, digital products, and make more money online. The objective of this is to make our code scalable for teams, assistants, and ghostwriters, people making their own products. This is how we do it. So we have the AI prompt, but the task is to write a 1-paragraph brand code summary that can be pasted onto onboarding docs or standard operating procedures. It says, summarize these brand laws into a powerful elite 1-paragraph brand code I can paste into SOPs, Notion dashboards, and onboarding documents. The audience, in this case, high-performing digital creators who want precision, clarity, and silent authority, but go ahead and customize it to your needs. And then the laws, we're going to go ahead and repaste from earlier. So I'll hit copy on this, go back to ChatGPT, paste it in. The first thing we're going to do is grab all of our previous operator laws and paste them into the prompt down below. It already has our audience, but go ahead and retailor the audience to your specific brand. Define more things. In this case, we can elaborate and say 18 to 28-year-old men driven by entrepreneurship, AI and tech, personal development. And finally, we know exactly how to define our operating procedures, so anyone on our team or getting affiliated with our coaching program, our consulting model, can know exactly what we stand for. We've defined our brand flawlessly in under 30 to 40 minutes. ChatGPT is going to go spin it out, and here's our code. I'm going to read it to you right now, and I want you to tell me how it sounds. We are builders, not talkers. Every move is calculated, every asset engineered. We operate under 3 laws. Precision over everything. No wasted words, no sloppy execution. Weaponized elite technology. AI, automation, and tools are not just systems, they're force multipliers. And finally, excellence only, always. We don't just publish average. We don't perform halfway. We don't follow trends. Inside Ascend, you execute at the highest level or you don't execute at all. Now, if you guys just heard that, that could be the highlight reel that goes on our Instagram that introduces people when they get inside of our community. We now know exactly what we stand for, and we've communicated that in a way using technology that's smarter than you, smarter than your old mentor, smarter than all the scammy programs that all the gurus and creators are selling to you on there. We've given you the system, we put it out on YouTube, and there you go. You can run with this template and maximize your brand's appeal. Finally, your deployment orders. I want you to finalize your brand code. We'll have the document for this attached in the description of this YouTube video. I want you to post it where you can see it daily, somewhere like in your standard operating procedures, in a link to your calendar so you can review it and make sure every content you're creating is in line with it. I want you to embed it in at least one system by tomorrow. As you've seen us do, we've done it in our bio, and you can do it in your content creation, whatever you want to do. Just pick one system and try to refine it by tomorrow. A bio would be a really easy start. And optionally, DM it in our audit room inside of our digital syndicate, where you can get live feedback and potentially a feature on my story for getting your stuff worked on and optimized. The final point I want to make is this. If someone joined your team tomorrow, would they like to know how to build like you? If they wouldn't, then your brand code probably isn't finished yet. More importantly, if you wouldn't know what you stand for and what you sell and how your service can actually benefit their life and what the vision of your brand is, then you have a lot more work to do. If that's the case, or you haven't even started your brand yet, you're in the right spot. Being in the free community on WAP here, you're definitely taking action, but the digital syndicate is at bare minimum your next step. The inner circle is where you can go ahead and use our custom built AI templates to run your entire brand, and you pay a one-time fee to have your brand run for you while you sit on the beach. The agency is where we go ahead and build an entire brand system automated specifically to the business you either have running or a business you want to build from scratch. So we can literally take a creator at any stage and either automate parts for them using custom templates to make things easier. We can design and build a brand for you from scratch that makes money while you sit on the beach. Or we can just give you the formulas and you install it yourself through our digital syndicate with all the tool packs to go message people for you, to go close deals in the DMs while you sleep, and do everything using AI so you can stop hiring virtual assistants, spending late nights sending DMs, and many, many more features. There's many creators out there that want to sell quick AI solutions, but they're not like us. We've maximized our presence in the space by having teams of people with decades of experience combined working on projects in AI. We stand out because of the execution we have on these topics and our high rating of success, because we only take on programs and projects with people that we know we can help. A lot of times we'll partner with you and install an AI system for your brand that makes money while you sleep, and we'll just partner up on your business. That frees up your time, it frees up thousands of dollars of money, and it lets anyone run their life the right way. So for those of you getting stuck in the trap of scaling a business, getting lost in content creation and hating your life, serving clients that are greedy and needy, we're here to fix that. As always, click the link below, check out this template, complete the homework, and then if you like it, which we know you will, go ahead and hop in our digital syndicate, the best way to get started in this space if you know nothing. I'm Caleb Schulte. Thank you for tuning into this live stream and eventual YouTube video. And as always, I'm rooting for you.